All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome. It's like another spring day headed our way in Pike Road, so what a great thing that is, huh? We'll go ahead and call our meeting to order. I'll ask Councilman Furman if he'll open us in prayer, please, sir.
Lord, thank you for today, God. Thank you for the beauty you've created. Thank you for life and for health and for bringing us here this morning to conduct the business of the town. I pray that you would lead us and guide us and go ahead of us in our conversation, Lord, that we would honor and glorify you in all we do. In Christ's name I pray. Amen.
Amen. If you all would join us for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. I'll ask our clerk to note that we have a full attendance this morning from council, so we have our quorum, and thank you all for being here. Next item is our consideration of the minutes from our February 9th regular meeting.
Motion to accept is presented.
Motion accepted by Councilor Steindorf, second by Councilman Robinson. In discussion? See none. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, like sign. So ordered. All right, Ms. Denna, welcome. Glad to have you for our monthly financial update for the council. Thank you for your good work and for your team and all the support you give to our team.
Good morning, Mayor Stone, council members. I'll be presenting the January 2026 financial statements on behalf of Carr Riggs Ingram. As of January 31st, the available cash in the general fund is $20,207,000. This balance represents a 32 months of operating expenses as described in the adopted budget for 2026. The available cash has increased $2,713,000 more than last month and $628,000 more than last year. The fund balance stands at $19,701,000, an increase of $363,000 more than last year. Year-to-date revenues are $6,148,000, an increase of $162,000 over last year. Current year-to-date net income is $2,542,000. In comparison to last year, it represents a decrease of $248,000. The town of Pike Road sets a target ratio for year-to-date net income to year-to-date revenues of 10%. Currently, the town is at 41%. When comparing the primary sources of revenues collected in January of 2025 to January of 2026, ad valorem receipts are up 22%, sales and use tax receipts are up 17%, business contractor licenses are down 17%, building permits are up 22%, and franchise fees are up 26%. Overall, the revenues collected in January 26 are up 3% over last year. As this concludes the presentation of the January financials, are there any questions?
Council, that business license number will fluctuate because it is license season. So the team is all hands on deck getting all of that paperwork taken care of. So that number should adjust accordingly. So, any other questions, thoughts, comments? Is there action on behalf of the council? Motion by Councilman Furman, second by Councilor Watley to approve the financial report as presented. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Opposed, like sign. So ordered. Thank you, Dana. Great job. Next item would be we're moving into old business. We don't have any carried over old business for this particular agenda, so we'll move to the new business. First item would be our annual fireworks resolution for our Summerfest summer celebration. This year, as a part, we are planning to do special activities for America's 250th, which shall be revealed as we get a little closer. So, going to be a great Summerfest this year. We just need council approval so we can go ahead and get that contract executed.
I just didn't see the date. What's the date?
Do you have the date, Andy?
It's June the 20th.
It's that Thursday. I can tell you real quick. Pretty sure it's June 26th, but let me look real quick.
25th.
Is it that Thursday the 25th of June?
We're kind of sticking with the Thursday before.
Yes, ma'am.
Because that's kind of been the.
Yes, ma'am. But in order to be out of the competitive nature of so many other events that occur during that as you get closer, and it's just easier for our team to and that's why we celebrate really more than just Independence Day, but the entire spirit of Pike Road, of how that's really what Summerfest was set up for initially anyway, was to celebrate the people who came together to make Pike Road what it is. So
Is this the same company that's done it previously?
yes, ma'am.
It's 25th.
Yes, sir. Motion approved by Councilor Bratcher. Any other? Second by Councilman Steindorf. Any other discussions? See none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. So ordered. Thank you very much. Senior Planner Rigsby, would you come up and talk about this annexation request, please, sir?
Yes, sir. This is a annexation request. This is the first reading for 1098 Chaseway Drive. This is the Murphy family, and this property in particular is towards the end of Chaseway. I think it's the second from the end. And this one specifically is really filling in gaps because three sides of it, this property are already in the town, and this one would fill that gap right there on that side of Chaseway.
Very simple. Thank you, sir. Any questions? This is the first reading, so it's gives you time to look over it. Any representatives of the party here? They're
I don't
not.
believe they're here.
Okay.
She had other commitments. So
Well, we just
physician,
like to
I
give
believe.
them an opportunity to say anything if they'd like, but that's fine.
Medical rotations, I think. So
Fair.
didn't work out.
Absolutely.
We can certainly put her on another agenda if she might be heard.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if she wants to come and share anything. But this is the first reading, so it'll be eligible for action at the, excuse me, next council meeting. All right. So the next item on our agenda, thank you, Darrell, is our ABC licensure request from the Goat Bar and Grill. Lisa, you want to just brief everybody on what this is, please?
This is going to be a similar license to what either one of our tenants, restaurants have, a retail liquor license for on-premise sales, and they're here. If you want to let him come
Okay.
in.
It's the same type license we have on either corner
Correct.
of this particular, of our building here. Is a representative of the Goat Bar and Grill here that would like to just say hello to the council? Welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Om Patel.
Nice to see you, Mr. Patel. Thank you for being here.
I'm Woody Trotman. We're developing, as you know, the Mary Corner over here. And his family have been kind enough to really put in what I think will be the feature restaurant in all of Pike Road. And wonderful food, wonderful entertainment. There was just some issues about having the word bar in the name versus grill. So we agreed with the attorneys to use the word grill.
Okay, so this is just a name change on the license.
That's it.
Okay, very good. Council, any questions for the applicant?
Welcome. Thank you for being here. I have a question. Is it going to be a bar?
Yes, but majority of our sales are going to be through food,
Okay.
more than 60%.
Okay. What are going to be your operating hours?
It's going to be from 10 to 10.
Okay, good. I think that's the message here because do you own the one in Prattville?
Yes, ma'am.
You do? Okay. The reason I ask is because I have been kind of following that, and it does seem like late at night there are issues. I know I've just followed kind of the public safety there, and so certainly, hopefully, that won't be an issue here. But if it is, we want to help you address that with the local authorities because we certainly don't want it to turn into. But we're excited. I love it. I'm a drug rep by trade, and I've catered with you guys some, so that's exciting. So we're glad to have you. And then, Mr. Trotman, if you'll stay around before the meeting's over, I'd love to talk to you about something else, not related. So, thank you. That's awesome.
Any other questions for the applicant? Since this is a resolution, we have the opportunity to vote on this morning. So is there any request on behalf of the council? Okay, thank you. Motion by Councilman Bratcher to move forward and approve, second by Councilman Steindorf. Any further discussion, council members? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Pose like sign. So ordered. Congratulations. We're looking forward to you being open, and thank you for being here and your whole team here. Thank y'all.
Thank you, guys.
Yes, sir. Okay, that is concludes our new business. I will ask, just as we go into other business, our infrastructure engineer, Mr. Flowers, is here. I'd like to ask Brad to come forward. We have I think, an exciting announcement for everybody. If you know, 30 days ago, give or take, Brad gave us an update on infrastructure, talked about the multiple road projects that we have going on. Still making progress on all of those, but we've got some significant progress to announce right now on Marla Road. Brad, you want to go ahead and share that with the group?
Yeah, so, good morning all. So as we discussed previously, one of the bigger projects that we've got going forward right now is partnership with DOT out at Marla Road and Vaughn Road, that intersection right there. And part of that coordination was being able to obtain right-of-way from the parcel there on the northwest corner of Marla Road to be able to get the turn lane onto Marla Road. That was acquired. We actually have the deed for that. That has been provided to DOT, so we are fully moving forward with all that. Plans are just about finished with DOT. I don't know what their time frame is for letting that out for construct or for bid, but I know they're moving forward. That was a huge step for us. So I appreciate the owner of that property volunteering that, because he understood what the issue was right there at that intersection, and then we needed the right of way. So we do have that in hand.
So as council knows, we've been working on this for about almost 2 years to try to get in line with LDOT's work. LDOT is doing the 110 expansion lane, expansion turn lanes.
Correct. Yes.
And then this will now allow us to do the southbound right, western turn, coming down Marla, which will make that a full package of improvements, not just simply a. Sorry, I didn't have my mic on. So what it does, that it allows us to connect with AlDOT's project, where they're doing the turn lane, the through lane, there on 110, and they will do this as one project. So it'll be able to be let as one project, it'll be worked on as one project, which will help with that early morning commute that Council Lady has mentioned before. And that's been really the biggest part that we've been working on of late, because the project was set to happen on 110, but not necessarily include the Marla Road improvements, if I'm correct. Is that right?
So now what that will include with that turn lane, there'll be an acceleration lane on 110, so the cars coming off of Marla Road will not stop if they're headed back towards Montgomery, just a straight through. And so they'll have an acceleration that'll go pretty much the length of that initial property, and then weave or merge back in to 110's through lane.
Well, council knows we've been talking about this for a few years, and trying to get all the pieces moving at the same time. So, and that should go, according to AlDOT, they're going to let that this summer. Is that right?
That's the plan, yes, sir.
That's good.
How
Late
long
summer.
is an acceleration lane? How long?
Pretty
is
much
that
the
lane?
full length of that property that's there on the corner. I
So
think it's
going
like
from the
600
corner
feet.
to the corner of the.
Yeah, it's about 600 feet, whatever the typical merge lane would be for acceleration and merge lane would be for something like that.
So that's very helpful. Should be a large improvement for the flow of traffic during the rush hour times.
I have a question on that though. So if that's going from corner property to corner property, if in the future a turn lane was put into that property, how's that gonna jive with that? Because that was.
Yeah, so basically what you've got coming from Montgomery back to Union Springs, what you'd have right there is there's going to be a far right, be a through lane to go all the way to Union Springs. There'll be a left turn to get into or onto Marla Road. They'll be coming back a through lane from Union Springs to Montgomery. Then you've got the acceleration lane. That turn lane to be able to pick up the cars that's going to be turning up onto Marla has a long stack down through there. So if there is ever anything put into that property right there, they'll widen out and extend that turn lane to be able to give stacking room for the first cars to come through. So there'll be some additional widening that would be required, outside of just a normal project, but
And you said there's going to a three.
it basically
three-lane-
just extend back a little bit, yes.
But it would be a three-lane look and feel to the driver, right?
Yes.
I need to get you to draw that out.
Yeah, he can draw it out for sure. That'd be easier. But anyway, I think that's the good news is the projects are working together, and there will be should be significant relief there during those busy times.
Correct.
Ray, have you got an update on the other end of Marler, the two roundabouts off the interstate there?
I have not talked to
completion.
them since our last update. If I remember correctly, they were looking at substantial completion.
March was what I think.
March, April, right in
Yeah.
that time frame.
Yeah.
I know there was some setbacks. I don't know exactly what it was, but
Concrete. Concrete was the issue. They were
Yeah.
trying to get all the concrete in before they could pour the asphalt, and the weather is the
Weather
biggest
held them up
impact
line.
on that
Right.
concrete.
Okay,
temperature constraints on some of that stuff, I'm sure have held them
Yeah.
up. But
okay.
yeah, I will find out for your next meeting. I'll let you know.
Yeah.
And updates on the roundabout on Wallahatchee.
And
Has that
Pike.
been fixed and done? And
Oh, that there, I've noticed, I went by there yesterday, there's significant improvements. We're still waiting on the striping to be delivered and the signage to be delivered. I know the trail work has been finished, the curbing has been finished, the road alignment has been finished, but the striping and the signage are still on order. So when they get here, of course, they'll be installed. The light has been added. So I think the punch list, except for two items which are on back order, which are not back order, but on order.
And the signs that are going in are not just your standard signs to get off the street. So that's why it's taking a little bit longer.
But there is signage there. It's just that
Yes.
big, bulky construction orange signage at this point. Any other questions for Brad while he's here? Good job, sir. Thank you for all your hard work. All right, that's all I have under other business, council.
And this you may not be able to give me the answer, but like help me work toward progress, just in the spirit of the fire department.
Sure.
Due diligence I'm trying to do
Yes.
so I can make a reasonable recommendation to you guys. A little bit more than I thought it was going to be. Okay, so when it comes to the ad valorem tax dollars, I understand the current distributions based off percentages.
Right.
What I need to understand is what is the tool that we use that puts the ad valorem on the real estate to get to the percentages? And how do we get an updated version
You
of
mean
that,
of
of the revenue?
what the assessment is? Is that what you're asking?
Yes, that assessment that leads to the distributions of the three fire departments.
Okay, so
I understand
you mean the
formula.
calculation of the value?
That's right.
That's
Because I think we can all agree after 10 years that obviously I can understand why, one of the departments was expressing to me
Right.
that maybe they're covering area that they're not getting the compensation for. Not compensation is not the word, that they're not receiving the
Right.
thing. And so I'm trying to understand, when I read the contracts, I see that we're distributing based off percentages. But how do we put the revenue on the real estate so we can all view that?
That's
What
done
tool is that?
the same way as all property taxes. It's across the board the same. So the way
So-
that is calculated for the school or the.
Right, I
It's
understand.
all the same. And it's done through a county tax assessor's office who goes out and assesses the value. Then they submit for the tax, which then is sent to us.
I think she's asking more how did we come up with the percentage?
Yeah, so I need to
No,
know.
you mean
so I
what
need-
percentage
so
was
what
attached
does-
to
what-
it?
Yeah, what does Pike Road look at to say, okay, this is
Based
the
on-
geography in this department, this is the geography in this department, and this is the geography in this department, and
I
that.
see. So I misunderstood your
Yeah, that's
question.
okay.
That was an agreed upon percentage based on
I know.
the county maps that was negotiated with all three departments.
Right, that's 10 years
So
old.
it was really done in connection or based on the lines that the County Fire Association
Okay,
had
so
set
the
up.
County Fire Association.
Right, they set up those lines, and those lines then allowed us to calculate based on population what was being served. Now, I think what's being expressed to us may be that there needs to be some
Watch things.
call related
I
because
don't
of some
know.
of the traffic
I want to
issues.
explore. I just want to understand.
But yeah,
So
that was done-
Can we get an updated county line? Can we get an
Absolutely.
updated from the Fire
Yes,
Association?
absolutely. We can request that.
How they
They don't obviously work for us. They're appointed by the county, but we can ask.
Right. Whatever tool we use.
Sure.
To determine who covers
Right.
what, can we get an updated one of that?
Yes.
And then tack the ad valorem on top of that so we can understand
see.
what
Yeah.
the difference is.
You want to, yeah,
Does that
absolutely.
make sense? I mean, I don't think that's just,
The only problem is when we collect the revenue, we don't know what property it's for. When they send us the.
Oh,
the
you mean from
revenue
the county?
From the county, we don't know.
so how did we determine?
Well, that's why you use the
That's
percentage.
why we use a percentage.
So the percentage
So we
of
may
the
have to
property
recalculate
covered,
the
and then
percentage.
the percentage of the property covered, and then that's
So you took
calculated.
the
against-
total percentage of, like, let's just say it was a third, and a third, and a third, for simplicity.
Right.
You took the total dollars you had, and if they say, if the county says you cover a third, you cover a third, you get a third of the percentages regardless of the value of that property. So I don't think we can say that we're putting the ad valorem on the value on the property and dispersing, because we're not doing that.
But there's no way to calculate that because they don't give it to
Okay,
us that way.
let's do this. It's time for you and I to have a meeting, Mark. Because there's this and there's one other issue when it comes to the Pike Road Volunteer Fire Protection Authority in terms of their operations. And this is all exploratory and good news. This is nothing negative. This is just understanding. The type of department that the way that they operate, they are defined under the Fire Protection Authority as defined by the Forestry Department. The Forestry says when you get a certain size, you can no longer operate as a Fire Protection Authority. Okay, I don't know where we are in that, but I do know that objection's out there, so we needed to define that and understand that. So those are the two things I think you and I just need to probably, because it's in contract time. If you know, these contracts are due in July, and if we wait too long, we're not, so I'm just trying to, as I'm reading, I have now connected with all three departments, not the fire department board of one of them is still, I haven't heard a call back, but the effort's there. But I've been able to gain a little bit of understanding of the perspectives, and I think what I've discovered is it's just a lack of understanding, a 10-year-old contract, and let's just put it about, get more updated information and all come to the table. So before I'm ready to come to the table or make that recommendation for them to all come to the table here, I still need to understand a little bit more about.
Well, thank you for your effort.
Yeah.
And
Because I always thought you put the ad valorem tax on the real estate, and that was distributed based off. But what you're saying is, and I understood the percentages. I just thought it was a percentage. I thought we actually knew the revenue on the real estate. That changes things a little bit.
Well,
so
and-
just something to consider.
and keep in mind this too, they all had to sign that agreement 10 years ago, so they'll have to sign this one, meaning we need to negotiate. And
Absolutely, and I think but I will tell you right now, my recommendation will not be a 10-year contract. The fast growing of this town,
That's
it's
right.
hard for someone to be pigeonholed, in my opinion, on either side. Either side, when you can't, unless it's a something in the document that's fluid that changes based off the need and value. But I don't know that
I agree
anybody's
with that.
unhappy with that. I can just tell you, nobody can really tell me how that's come about. So Lisa, will you help me with that? Just
yeah,
put some attention on it.
That's good work. The history of that up until we signed that agreement had even been less defined. So
Yeah,
it's a
right. It's just
natural-
progress.
It's
That's
a
right.
natural progress. At 2015, 2016, when that agreement was signed, we had just kind of come through a whole new era of growth. So you're right. I think 10 years may be too long.
Yeah.
All right. Great. Thank you. Good job. Anything else? All right. Is there a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by Council Steindoff to adjourn, second by Council Bratcher. Any further discussion? Seeing none. Wait, hold on. Do you have a packet there? I mean, a flyer there. Jennifer's not feeling well this morning, but there's remind you with Pike Road Business Association meets Thursday at 4:30 at Pike Road Coffee with their community connections. The prayer team Empty Bowls is next week on the 3rd out at Grace Church. That's preparation for the summer feeding program. And then ribbon cutting for Nolan Family Pharmacy. Another one of Mr. Trotman's tenants over there. They're cutting a ribbon March 4th at 4 o'clock. So, and then Read Across America. So just note those activities coming up in the next 10 days, Council, for your engagement. If you'd like, contact Jennifer. She'll give you more of the details. Appreciate her hard work. Vince, y'all's good work. So with that, seeing nothing else, we have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. So ordered. We adjourn. Public comment? Come forward, please, Mr. Drakas. State your name, even though we know it, please.
Good morning. My name is Andrew Girakis. I live at 72 Avenue of the Waters in the Waters community. My question actually follows up on what Councilwoman Bradshaw was just asking. It is my understanding that we have a GIS system that enables us to determine which parcels are in the town of Pike Road. And it strikes me that there could be a layer from our perspective where we could identify where each parcel resides with respect to the fire protection authorities. Am I to understand that the County of Montgomery Revenue Department cannot specifically articulate the total tax revenue that is generated by parcels that we would define through that they do not have the same GIS capability?
They just don't submit it when they submit the payments to us, what they've collected.
Let me answer this question two ways. One, it may be that we haven't ever asked the right questions.
Okay.
So I think the investigative work that Councilor Bradshaw's doing now leads us to a more clear understanding of the questions. So I don't want to define what the county's capacity is or isn't until we ask the questions. But those are certainly technologically reasonable thoughts. It's just a matter of whether I don't know their capability or how they operate or whether they, feel it's their appropriate authority to do that. I just don't know because there are a lot of laws, Mark, that impact what revenue departments can do. And I don't know the answers, but I think this knowing what to ask gives us the opportunity to find that out.
Okay, so my follow-on comment is if there's something that we as citizens can or should do after you've determined whatever, to lobby the County of Montgomery to be able to make this type of information, this capability possible, I think it's very much to the benefit of every municipality in the county and everyone in the county. I mean, the data is there, the technology is available. We simply need to push for that to be made possible.
And before we assume they can't do it, let's ask the question first, and then we'll find out.
Many thanks.
Good
Thank you
point.
very much for the update on roadways. That was wonderful.
Well, we're excited. We've got a lot of projects and need a few more, but we're working them. All right. Anything else? Thank you very much, everybody. Have a great day. Enjoy this beautiful weather.